Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Dani, and today I'm going to film the Where's That Fantasy challenge. I'm on a different setup today because I have to basically scavenge my bookshelf, and I haven't filmed any of this type of videos of this type of challenges that wasn't the one that I created with Tabby, which I'm going to link there if you want to check that out. But I haven't seen any of the questions, so this is probably going to be chaotic. And I'm also not wearing my microphone today because the cord is not long enough. The tripod would probably fall. So we're doing with this, but I hope the audio is okay. This challenge was created by Erin from the channel Booked and Busy. I'm going to link her channel down in the description as well. Do check her out. And I'm going to watch the beginning of the video maybe, or just read a little bit of the description to see if I have to time myself because I'm not sure, but we'll see. Okay, so I didn't know all the rules of this challenge. Like I said, I didn't watch any of the videos, but apparently I have to do this in under 10 minutes and I have to get at least 15 of the 20 questions. Otherwise, I have to read the lowest rated book in my bookshelf. I just filmed my November TBR and I don't know if I'm going to fit that in that TBR. If you watched it, you know why, because I don't know what the books are yet. But I want to do this challenge anyway, and it's just for fun. I don't know if I'm going to get it in 10, 15 questions, but we'll see. So I'm going to film everything and then I'll come back to you because now I'm worried I'm not going to get it in 10 minutes and we'll see what happens. But I'm going to time myself and I'm going to try at the most to get just fantasy because the idea is it should be fantasy. But I read much more than just fantasy, so if something fits that is not a fantasy, I might consider it because I don't have that amount of fantasy on my bookshelf. She wants to say hi. I'm risking my time here so she can say hi. There you go. Okay, I did it in 6 minutes and 21 seconds. I didn't watch the video enough to know if I could repeat books, but I repeated a few of them. I doubled up in some prompts, but it should be fine. I still got a lot of books and my bookshelves are a mess. So that's how we know that this type of video was a success. But let's go through them, and I'm going to go through them from the bottom up, each prompt, because that's now the first book is in the bottom of the pile and that's just going to be too hard. So the last prompt, so prompt 20 is a book with a talking animal. And for that one, I picked Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. We have a giant cat here that talks. She's technically not an animal, she's an animal because it's a different creature that exists in this book, but she's a big cat that talks, so it counts. Prompt 19 is one word title. And for that I picked Nevernight by J. Kristoff. It's just one word. Prompt 18 is a standalone. And for that, I don't remember what I picked. I don't think I have one actually, a standalone fantasy. I think that's the conclusion that I got to. I just looked at 2 standalone fantasies. So I'll put a 1 minute penalty on my time because I still can do that, but let's go with The Kingdom of Back by Mary Lou. In this book we have the story of Mozart's sister and Mozart's himself. They go into this magical land and it's a fantasy and it's a standalone. 17 is an underhyped book. And for that I picked Dragon Slayer by Duncan M. Hamilton. I got this book in a giveaway on Goodreads and I haven't heard anyone talking about this, and I already bought the second one and read it. The third one is already out. They were released very close to each other, but I haven't read the third one yet. But this is just a short, very fun fantasy about dragons, and there's not a lot to say about it, but it's very underhyped. Like, it's not the most unique setting ever, but it's just a lot of fun. Then we have multiple copies of the same book, and I don't think I have multiple copies of the same book. And oh my god. Okay, another 1 minute penalty. I do have multiple copies. I have Heart of Flames, the Ark, and the finished copy. So yeah, this is the second book in the Crown of Feathers trilogy. And yeah, I got the arc in an Instagram giveaway, and then I bought the finished copy to support the author because she's amazing. And then I have 2 copies of the same book. Prom 15 is a book that features dragons, and I'm also using Dragon Slayer for that because this is all about dragons. It has a huge dragon right on the cover. I'm organizing my bookshelf as I go because this is a mess. 14 is a special edition, and I grabbed the Boncrier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. This is the All-Crate edition, so it is a special edition. Number 13 is an urban fantasy, and for that I picked The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. This is a story that happens in New Orleans, and it's about paranormal stuff like vampires and like weird, that kind of vibe. But it is an urban fantasy. Then we have a book by a Black author, and I picked The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I read this book a few months ago, and I really loved it. I really recommend it. And this is about cities that have souls, and they're like personified. So like not personified, an actual person is the soul of the city. It's hard to explain, read it, it's a lot of fun. Then we have an assassin story, and I'm also using Nevernight for that because it's the first one that comes to mind. It's the most obvious assassin story because it's an assassin magical school, so we're gonna go with that. Then we have a book that features a bastard child or lost heir, and I picked Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian because the princess here, the main character, is a princess that was kidnapped, so she's lost and she has to get back to her kingdom. I don't know if this fits so well, but she's a lost princess, like a lost heir, so I think it counts. Then I have books in a series that aren't the same size, and I picked Nevernight and Dark Dawn, but also God's Grave is a different size from these 2, but it's just hard to get there. But these are a different size because this is the Brazilian paperback edition, and this is the US hardcover edition, and then God's Grave is the US paperback edition, so they're all a mess. Then we have a book with a unique magic system, and at this point it's just so well known that I don't know if it is considered unique anymore, but for me it is. I picked Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I think the magic system here is very different from everything that I've read. It's just so much fun because it's based on metals, so people ingest and like burn metals inside themselves to be able to do magic stuff. So it's really cool and very unique. And this is the Brazilian edition of the second era of Mistborn. This is the Benzo Morning, so I think the 3rd book in the second era, but I might be wrong. But yeah, so I picked this one. Then we have a book with illustrations. And for that, I'm also using Nevermore. It's not completely illustrated, but the start of each chapter has an illustration in it, so it is illustrated. It has illustrations. Prompt number 6 is signed by the author, and I'm also using Heart of Flames for that because this copy that I won on the giveaway was signed and personalized for me by Nikki Paparetto. Prompt number 5 is a myth or retelling, and I picked Greek Myths by Jean Menzies. This is about Greek myths. I'm not sure again if this is what the prompt meant, but it has myths in it, so it is myth or retelling. Prompt number 4 is a weapon on the cover, and I picked The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. It has like a bunch of spears and swords and other type of weapons here. It's a really cool cover. Then I have multiple books in a series that I haven't started yet, and I picked The Darker Shade of Magic by V. Schwab. I have all the books in the series, but I haven't started the series yet. The second one is a book that's older than me, and I picked Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. This was published in 1865. I was not born before that. And the last one, or the first prompt in the list, is a book with over 1,000 pages. And I picked Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This one has 1,097 pages. There we go, it's all organized again. That's a great way to make these videos. So I'm glad I succeeded in this challenge because I don't know what my TBR has in store for me in November, so I didn't want to add an extra book, especially a low rated extra book. I had so much fun. If you have done this challenge also, please tell me in the comments. I would love to watch it, and now I can go watch everyone's challenge because I'm so curious to see how people did it. And remember to like this video also and subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye!